United States, there's been a growing movement that comes under the label or the title of End the Fed. And the reason for that movement is a growing awareness on the part of a lot of people that the U.S. Federal Reserve is not really an independent agency, a government agency. In reality, it is a private bank owned by private bankers, very, very powerful people, who I gather own central banks right across the world. And there's a strong belief among a lot of people that these people are, in fact, the people who have engineered this recession, just like they did in 1929. And makes them very dangerous and very frightening people. And I would like to know, Naomi, I'd like to direct this to you and to anybody who would like to respond to it, to get your feelings on it.
You know, I agree that the Federal Reserve is irredeemable, that it's unreformable, that there needs to be a new system that is absolutely accountable to bankers, that it has no level of transparency or accountability, it's just a black hole. My colleague at The Nation, William Greider, has done very, very good writing on this and has, articulated that one of the key demands in the economic crisis should be basically getting rid of the Fed as it currently is and reinventing it so that it's actually democratic and you have a central bank that is harnessed to the interests of the population. I mean, one of the key demands of this economic, market fundamentalist ideology over these past 30 years has been for central banks to be so-called independent, right? None of these banks are independent. As you say, they're accountable to the banking sector. But the idea of the independent central bank is so that they're not accountable or answerable to politicians. And it's a myth of independence, and a myth of neutral technocrats running it. And of course the person that they were holding up as this neutral technocrat all those years was Alan Greenspan, who is in no way neutral. That said, I understand that there are a lot of conspiracies floating around about the Fed that are very elaborate and there is this idea apparently out there that they actually engineered this crisis, and I do not believe that. I think when you deregulate an economy, you create a crisis creation machine. Capitalism is a crisis creation machine on every level. Not just in terms of the financial sector, but climactic, the climate. And wars, that we're just being hit with ever more crises. And I actually think this is something that the system delivers on its own. Now, I absolutely believe that there's all kinds of backroom scheming to make sure that the people who win in this crisis are the same people who created the crisis. Absolutely. But no, I don't think they created the crisis just so that they could profit from it. I think they were profiting before and they're profiting now.